We welcome Alyssa from Carson City to the Call-In Show. Alyssa, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. Guys, I've already been trying to feel out how close Carson City is to my precious Lake Tahoe snow. And guess what? I'm living at Alyssa's house this winter, folks. No comment from you? You're just down?
Yeah, if you want to chip in some rent.
Yeah, I'll chip in a couple $100. No problem. Yeah. How much is it? Is rent cheap in Carson City?
No.
Is it cheap anywhere these days?
Yeah, I'm like, it's probably cheap compared to some places, but not where it's used to be.
It's crazy. Now I feel like you could live in fucking Klamath Falls, Oregon, and the rent's expensive. You could live in fucking Tendoy, Idaho, and the rent's expensive. And yeah, I got a map in front of me.
Yeah, where is that?
You don't know Tendoy? You don't know Tendoy, Idaho?
No.
Me neither. Nobody's ever heard.
Look up the rent.
What about Winnemucca, Nevada? You ever been to Winnemucca? Winnemucca? Oh, is that Winnemucca?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Never been, but I know some people from there.
In Tendoy, Idaho, guys. This is in the middle of Idaho. The cheapest rent, it says here, for a one bedroom is $845.
Oh.
Which is cheap compared to LA. I mean, that's like basically half my rent. But that's not like cheap, really. For a one bedroom. So for a two bedroom, I guess it says $850. Okay, I guess Tendoy is the one place in the United States that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
That's pretty reasonable. I'd like to see a 600 in there, but what are you going to do? Anyway, you live in Carson City, and how's Carson? Okay, I'm really a terrible comedian. Now, what else is going on? You're pregnant.
Yes.
Were you mad about what I said about the stretch marks there? A lot of people were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. But I don't know. It's kind of like a weird subject where I'm starting to I'm getting stretch marks, like a lot of them, and they're super fucking itchy. Oh. I didn't know that was a thing, but they get itchy.
The stretch marks get itchy. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither until it was just nonstop. But I think it's like because of how dry it gets. Really itchy.
As I am now legally required to say, that is so fucking sexy.
I know. It is really sexy.
You've got the stretch marks, and how many months pregs are you?
About 6.
Holy shit. That baby ready
6, 7. Yeah.
6 or 7. And are you feeling kicks and all that shit?
A little bit here and there.
Soft kicks.
Not as much as I thought. I don't know. It's my first time, so yeah. I don't really know exactly. Right. Like at first I was like, what is this? I don't know. Is it just gas? But
that's a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great. You know, I'm very for people having kids who want to have kids. Call me a natalist, folks. And that's exciting for you. And you also said you work at a podiatrist's store. Not store. Why am I saying that? Office.
Yep. We fix feet. I used to work in the back, so I used to look at all the feet, and it was pretty gnarly.
You used to look at all the feet?
I work more in the front, so like I don't really juggle much back there anymore, but like I would see like ulcers and stuff. Yeah, and people with like no toes.
Oh, no toes. That seems hard to balance.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff and fungal, not any, and it makes me appreciate my feet more, actually. Like I used to think they were ugly, but now I'm kind of like, they're kind of cute.
I was going to say, just going by your face, I can tell you got great feet.
Well, thank you.
Well, folks, speaking of feet, we're going to do a little feet situation here that will have Shannon rolling in her grave. She's not dead, but she would be rolling wherever she is, I suppose. AITA for putting my feet on the seat in the car and suggesting my brother-in-law walk if he had a problem. So I was wearing high heels all day. My feet were killing me by the time we were driving home. So I took my shoes off and sat cross-legged on the seat. My feet weren't touching anybody, but my brother-in-law was sitting next to me and turned it into a big deal because apparently my feet are so gross to him. He told me to put my feet down and put my shoes on. I refused, so he claimed my feet stunk, which was a blatant lie. He did eventually back down on me putting my shoes back on, but he still wanted me to take my feet off the seat. Nobody else had an issue with how I was sitting, and it wasn't my brother-in-law's car, so I got annoyed and told him to walk if he had a problem, since I felt like he was just trying to embarrass me at that point. I think he got angry because I told him to walk because he started to argue with me even more and was getting louder and louder about it too. It got to the point where my husband and mother-in-law both had to tell him to shut up. AITA.
Wait, whose car was it?
She doesn't say whose car it was. We know it's not her car, and we know it's not the brother-in-law's car. I'm guessing it's the mother-in-law's car, because she would have said if it was her husband's car, she would have been in the front, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I would assume. Yeah. I don't know. I think there is a possibility they could have stunk. She's saying they didn't stink, but I feel like people are accustomed to their smells a lot of the time.
Well, she did say, right, that she was wearing high heels.
Yeah.
All day. Like is that stinky?
Get sweaty. Depends. Yeah. For me, personally, my feet stink if they're sweating all day.
You got stinky feet, huh?
I do got stinky feet.
She's got stretchy marks and stinky feet, people.
Yeah.
I think we can give it to her. She's saying that her feet didn't stink. She said it was a blatant lie.
Yeah.
How close could the feet have possibly been? I guess if she was like going diagonal.
Right. Well,
and you know what?
So it's just her and her brother-in-law in the back seat.
I guess that's how I'm picturing it. But let me say this. If the feet stunk so bad, other people would have complained. I think I have that.
True.
They must not have stunk that bad. So he is playing up the stink factor. I think this is going to really take his case down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got here. Roan Ark. Ideally, she'd have a change of shoes for the drive home. Okay, motherfucker. I think it's hard enough to be a goddamn woman that you don't need to bring two pairs of shoes everywhere. Fuck you. It's ridiculous.
For the ride home. I don't think anyone has ever thought, oh, I need to bring an extra pair of shoes for the ride home.
These are my car shoes. Yeah, just for the ride home, not the way there. Just my little car shoes. Maybe a walrus. YTA. People don't have to inspect your feet to see if they are clean or not. After a day, they are considered dirty. You need to learn to respect the people around you. If your high heels are killing your feet to the point you have to remove them during the car ride home, maybe don't wear high heels. Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot. Don't wear high heels. What if the occasion calls for them? How about don't put up a stink about a couple feet?
And I feel like high heels just hurt after a day for everyone. If this person thinks that they can wear high heels all day, like there's some tough, I don't know, just the way they said it, like if you can't wear high heels, then don't wear them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to wear high heels for no reason. I mean, surely you have some reason. Personally, not a fan of them, but I understand they're called for, right? As a 5'8", I consider the high heel, they're kind of an enemy of mine. But listen, if I could wear high heels, that'd be great. I would do that shit because I would love to.
No one's stopping you.
I mean, do you think a lot of these girls want a 6-foot guy? If I show up in high heels, how is that going to play out for me?
I mean, you can add that to your hinge. 6 foot if I wear high heels.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah. I think I might take you up on that. Mono Queen 95 YTA. You want to kick your high heels off? Fine, but keep your feet off the seat when you've been asked to move them. I just feel like this is such a case of like, okay, why the fuck? Listen, I'm gonna read. Let's see if there's any comments, because here's my analysis. Clearly, these family. Okay, her comments don't clarify what this is, but clearly these people just went to an occasion. Maybe it was a wedding, maybe it was a funeral, but would you wear high heels to a funeral?
I don't wear high heels.
But would one?
I think people,
people do.
People do.
You know, so listen, if it's a mother-in-law, it's a husband, it's her, and it's a brother-in-law.
Yeah, it was definitely.
They went to something. She had to wear heels. That's what the occasion called for. And he's going to be there throwing up a fuss. Basically, I think I've established that there is no smell case here. It's like, dog, stop looking at her feet. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Maybe if they're like, I don't know, is he in the middle? Is he right next to them?
No, there's only 4 people in the car.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't see any issue. Maybe she should have just kept them down, though. I don't know.
I mean, people are saying, top comment, YTA, he was sitting next to you and didn't want your feet near him. Develop some manners. No, I'm not developing manners for that. She was in high heels all day.
Yeah.
Why don't you develop some empathy at that shit hurts and she wants to stretch out? And what? Their feet that are barely near you. Like, who cares? Roast her. I say this is an opportunity to roast, but not actually complain. Well.
Right. So what do you constitute as barely next to you? Because with Shannon's situation.
See, but Shannon is crossing so many boundaries, which what she does. Shannon is putting her feet on someone's armrest. That's 1 foot away. I don't know that this is 1 foot away. I feel like there might be 2 or 3 feet away here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to picture. I'm picturing it in my Camry. In my Camry, I don't even know if this would be possible. You'd have to have very flexible legs. But Shannon is putting those feet within 1 foot of a stranger that she doesn't know. She's not wearing high heels. Like, she's got no reasons. This girl was in high heels all day. They were all at an event. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what's the big deal? Like, let her do what she needs to do. I don't think it's negatively affecting you. Like, yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's good manners. You know, when I stay at your house and I'm living on your couch and snowboarding, I'm not going to bring my feet out. I'm a guest.
You can bring your feet out.
I'm not going to bring them out just because I respect your home, you know? And then you're going to be
sleep
like,
in your shoes?
You could, can I sleep in my shoes or do you want to?
No, you're going to sleep in your shoes?
I can sleep in my shoes. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Are you saying turn into a tiny Danny and sleep in my shoe, or are you saying
no.
sleep with my shoes on?
Like, yeah, on.
Well, yeah, I'll sleep with my shoes off, but I'm only going to take them off right before I go to bed, and then I'll just tuck them like under the couch. You'll barely even see them.
Oh, okay.
So, listen, I just feel like, yeah, it's kind of nasty. I'm not going to sit here and say I want feet all over my 2021 Camry hybrid, you know, but Shannon did this shit to me, and you know what? I let her do it. Because it was a long ass drive. And I think this is similar. It wasn't a long ass drive necessarily, but she was in the high heels all day. And, you know, the Shannon and Jakes of the world, they're tall motherfuckers and they got to stretch their shit.
Yeah. I don't know. People are just so weird about feet. I mean, I personally don't like care, I guess. But some people like literally like they see the sight of a foot and they're like freak out like dramatically. Like I've had people.
Yeah.
I don't get it personally, but I don't know. It sounds like this guy might be on that.
Would you
spectrum.
would you ever want your foot sucked on as a pregnant woman? As a prego?
I mean, I've had my foot sucked on, but not while pregnant.
Ooh, okay. Did you like it non-pregnant?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, to be honest, my husband has a foot fetish, so...
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Now we found out something to go out on. AITA for putting my feet on the seat in the car, suggesting my brother-in-law walk. I'm saying no. I'm saying honestly NTA, and he's being annoying. Let her do what she needs to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I can maybe...
But it's not her car, so she doesn't have the power to say, walk home.
That's fair, but I think she was just kind of being like, walk home then, me.
Yeah, if you don't like it.
I could maybe say, if I had to say something, maybe she's picture painting a little here, but anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Your husband has a foot fetish. How does that play out?
He just likes my feet. I don't know.
Your foot or your feet? Because that would be way more interesting if he's like, bring me lefty, baby, please.
No, both feet. So like if I'm in the mood or something, I'll take off my socks and I'm like, hey, what's up?
And I'll get into your feet, huh?
Yeah.
And you work in podiatry. You're kind of like a foot. You kind of have a foot lifestyle.
I know. It's kind of weird. You would think he'd be the one working there, but no. So and he's always commenting on people's feet too. He's like, look at that person's foot.
Do you ever get jealous?
Sometimes, to be honest, yeah.
Wow.
I'll catch him checking someone's feet out and I'm like, that's not my feet.
So he gets really into the feet though. I
mean, he's not like crazy into it. Like he's never gone like paid for people's feet or anything like that. He just likes them. He's
turned on by them, but it's not like core to the sexual experience. I mean, are you foot pregnant?
Am I foot pregnant? No. No.
Well, Alyssa, I'm so sorry. I did lose your other call-in episode, but honestly, this one was a banger. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All righty.
Can't wait to see you here at your new home.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the couch. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We welcome Chaney to the call-in show. Chaney, sorry, I already forgot where you live. I just remembered you went to Yale. You live where now?
I live in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Is that where Raleigh is, or is that south?
Yeah, that's where Raleigh is.
Love to hear it.
Killed it.
I did land in Raleigh is one of two places in the United States that I've landed in and not known what state I was in. The other all honor goes to Baltimore. I was like, I don't know where this is.
Could be anywhere. East Coast, that's all you know.
So I dropped some juice on you, super private juice, literally one-on-one juice, which you could get access to, folks, if you join us on Patreon. But anyway, you said something pretty interesting that I kind of wanted to just, poke around in, which is you said that Harvard people are very pretentious, but not true about the Yales. What's the deal there?
I think that Harvard has the slight prestige edge. They're older. They've been around. They're like the name. They're always number one. I think it's really hard not to carry that with you. And obviously this isn't true for anyone I know who goes to Harvard. They're all great. They're all gems. But I feel like on average, the average Harvard student is a little bit more concerned with prestige than the average Yale student. But there are exceptions in both directions.
It adds up in my very narrow experience of Harvards and Yales. Now, I asked you what you do for a living, what you're studying in school because you're in grad school now, and you said trees.
Yeah, that's the really short answer. I have a medium answer and a long answer, but if it's I do tree stuff.
That might 2 words is a little short. I mean, I think we're shooting for short, but you can't. Trees, me do trees.
Yeah, I am an ecophysiologist. I do sap flux research. So I'm looking at patterns of water uptake in pine forests and interested in that relative to sustainable forest management. So that's my medium answer.
Well, let me ask you, because these fucking California people, they won't let me take my one-wheel scooter, my little off-road scooter.
Of course.
You know it. Okay, so whatever. It's a little scooter. They say I'm not allowed to ride that in the Joshua Tree National Park. Can I get this on the record that there is no way in hell that's damaging anything if I'm riding it in a wash or on a dirt path?
Danny, you have me on the record saying stop trying to ride your one wheel at Joshua Tree.
Oh my God, what? You're allowed to ride it on the dirt roads. You're telling me I can't ride it on the trails?
I mean, if they tell you you shouldn't, you probably shouldn't. Trees...
Ma'am, go ahead. The trees what?
The trees, they need help. They need our care and consideration. Gotta respect it.
The trees. I love the trees. I'm taking pictures. The trees, by the way, do the trees know they're going up on my Insta story looking like fucking fire?
I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
God, I can't believe I'm not even getting the answer I want. I was going to be ready to play this for the state patroller as I get arrested.
No, I gotta keep my rep here.
That's fair. Obviously, you're involved with big tree industry, notoriously powerful.
Oh yeah, big tree.
Big tree. Anything else you want to start before we jump into this sitch?
I don't think so. I'm super excited to be here. I'm pretty obsessed with the pod, so I'm stoked.
So flattered. See, people who go to Arizona State, it takes us like 10 years after school, but we're smart enough that the Yale people are like, all right, I'll put up with this guy.
It took you less time than that.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. You picked this out. You said you and your boyfriend were already fighting about it, which we frankly love to hear.
We were not fighting.
You were debating it. You were arguing about it.
We were debating.
Here we go, folks. AITA for being a pick-me and not defending a woman who was quote unquote forced to drive home alone at 2 a.m. in an unfamiliar area. Two of my best friends, Chris and Matt, 23M, have been taking birthday trips together for years. They're both born in August, so they pick a weekend that works for everyone, and we all go on a small road trip vacay. They started this tradition a few years before I became really close with them. I started attending when they were 19 and I was 17, but to my knowledge, there were never any issues in the years before I started coming, and I know there haven't been any since. There's usually a group of 5, with our friends Nathan and Nick also there. Other people have joined, especially during Chris's college years, and it's always been great. 2 groups meld, whatever. It's even led to independent friendships. Imagine that. My point is, it's a great time, no issues, extra guests or no problem. This year, though, Matt's girlfriend attended. Things got off to a rocky start since instead of carpooling the way we typically do, Matt and Chris in one car plus me, Nate, and Nick in the other, or all riding together, she wanted to ride with him separately. We could tell this annoyed Matt. The drive there and back is kind of a highlight of the trip, but he agreed. Over the course of the 4 nights we were there, she was miserable. These trips are usually very unstructured. We hang out, walk to nearby shops, restaurant, roast s'mores, whatever, go to the beach, and she just seemed restless. She continually suggested we drive to a fancier restaurant for a birthday meal, and everyone kept politely sidestepping the topic. Chris would come to us pissed off every single night because she would interrupt them, beg Matt for at least 30 minutes to come to bed with her at 11 p.m., then eventually go to bed by herself when he wouldn't. I guess it was because I was the only other woman there, but she began clinging to me on night 2. I played along and tried to get to know her, but it was mostly just her talking. She complained about Chris for a large portion, saying he took up too much of Matt's time. Now, I'm a girl's girl, but this is a woman I've known for days compared to best friends of mine I've known for years. Obviously, I tell the boys about this while we're out at dinner at like 2 a.m. When we come back, girlfriend is fuming and claiming it's so unsafe that we left her at the house alone sleeping without telling her we were leaving. Matt was over it and asked her to leave, citing the things she said about Chris and how angry she had been throughout the whole trip. She called me a pick-me and claimed I should know as a woman how unsafe it is to leave her alone and asked her to drive home at 2 a.m. in an area she doesn't know well. The friends I've told this to had mixed reactions. I'd like some outside perspective. AITA.
So this one, when I read it first, I had this sort of one initial reaction. And then the more I sat with it, I started drifting a little bit.
Well, good luck, because it's an uphill battle. I mean, let's just start landing all our dings. I mean, not even going into I don't even need any other details. Just the fact that this girl's relational pattern is she pretty much talked the whole time. I'm like instantly despicable person. Unaware, selfish, needy, just nightmare human.
Damn.
Right?
I mean, so yeah, I think that there's my instinct too was to be like, who brought their like whiny, annoying girlfriend to the like chill part, like get together? I think that's the like instinct. But then my pause was like, somebody's like, hey, why don't you come with us on our trip? And then they spent the whole time like leaving her out, not taking her suggestions. Like, girl didn't even want to talk to her for an evening. Like, this is a very, like, I feel like there are 2 sides to this story, or like multiple sides to this story. And I kind of want to dig into that a little.
I'm sorry, Chaney. I like you a lot, but I just see none of what you're saying. Here's what I'm seeing. This person should be grateful they were invited on a road trip for their partner's birthday. And you know what you should do when you're in a new situation and you don't know the people there? You're the new one in the group. What you should do is shut the fuck up and figure out how to ingratiate yourself and become a member of this squad and pack. In fact, I have a story. God, I haven't even thought of this. I haven't thought of this story for 10 fucking years. But I tried to ingratiate myself in one such group on a road trip, in fact, and it was the college sketch group. And basically what happened is I drove. So already I was trying to build up some points. And what I ended up doing was, as a bit, one of the people in the group had made their own porn site. To be clear, this wasn't like they made an OnlyFans page. It was like they made their own OnlyFans. Like it was like a website where you could upload videos. So I forgot now what I did. But I did something funny. I think I just uploaded a porn of myself. I remember like covering my. But I did it because there was things that like they were rehearsing or whatever. And so I was alone in the room and I was like, this will be a great bit. And guess what? It was a great bit. They loved it. And that was kind of when I felt I became part of the group because I played into the running bit that the group had. I played into the culture of the bit. This is the only social success story I have in my entire life. So let me have this, Chaney.
It's a ride too. And like, here's the thing. I will give you that. And I will say I totally am on board with what you said in that I would never do what this girl is doing. Part of me is like, come on, you're the new person. This is kind of a lot. But I want to give at least a little bit of credit to like, she just suggested a restaurant and they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And the one girl, she wanted her boyfriend to come stay in the room with her. And he's like, gross, no.
That's annoying.
She just goes to bed by herself.
I
mean, yeah, but like, why even invite her if she's not going to like get invited into the fold a little bit?
It's not that she wasn't invited. She wanted to control and constrict. She wasn't vibing. She wasn't trying to vibe. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. By the way, she continually suggested we drive to a fancier restaurant, and everyone politely sidestepped it. This woman is obtuse. She's blind to the social cues, and she wasn't being asked to leave. Nobody asked her to leave the fire pit or whatever. She wanted to control Matt, whatever. Yeah, Matt. She wanted to control Matt and say, Matt, I want to go to bed. Matt, I want you to come with me. And it's like, well, sweetie, it's his birthday. It's his road trip. He's with his close friends. Like, why don't you just go to bed if you're tired? Good night.
I don't know. I definitely have dings for her, but I feel like there are dings to spread around.
I'm sorry, but let's go. Keep trying to ding. I got no dings.
Okay.
I got no dings. I mean,
okay. I'm gonna ring these bells. Here are my dings. Okay. Especially once you start to get toward the end of the story, where her boyfriend asks her to leave at 2:00 in the morning because she's upset that I agree that it's like just leaving her when she's sleeping. Like, it's not safe to be alone in a house. Like,
what?
I don't really see where that's coming from, but I think if I woke up and realized that everyone had gone and done something without me, I would also feel a little weird. And for the boyfriend to just say, go home, is very strange. And I think it's like, if there's someone maybe I can ding here, it's the boyfriend. For just, why even bring her if you don't want to spend the time with her too? Do you know what I mean?
No, she's being impossible the whole trip. Okay, let me. I got another story for you. Wow, you're taking some weird stories I haven't thought about. All right, so one time, me and my friend, he was moving from Arizona to New York, and so we wanted to film it because we thought it was interesting. We were going to go do open mics and like comedy shows. It would have been the stupidest, most pointless documentary. It's like literally open mic, the movie. But anyway, we managed to convince some other guy to come with us. And his whole role was going to be to like set up the cameras and edit. And like, that's why he was there, to like help us with the cameras. And it was like a week-long trip. And literally this exact same thing happened. He like it started off like he started off like kind of working, but then he like wouldn't do anything. Like he just started doing less and less. And and then he like clearly wanted to be part of it. And we were like, well, no, the whole thing is like, you're recording us. Like, and he just got like really shitty. And so this was an asshole move, but we ended up just like leaving him in Chicago. We were just like,
what?
We were tired of his shit. And so we just left him. Oh, I forgot about this. We left him.
You had a story of a good example, and then you did that, Chaney.
Okay, but look, that was an asshole. That was an asshole move. We should have been honest and transparent with him. It was brutal what we did, but he really did irk us. But the thing is, like, I feel like this girl came on a trip. She wanted to do her thing. It was a birthday trip. She ignored the dynamic of the friend group. She just like continuously exhausted the patience of everyone until they ran out of steam. And eventually it got to a point where it's like, bye, just like leave. And like, honestly, the fact that she was left alone at 2 a.m., I get why that would be upsetting, but like, what does she do? What does she do at that point? She's claiming it's unsafe. This is so classic. I'm just going to call this girl Cassandra. This is classic Cassandra. It's so unsafe for a woman to be in a house. I'm sorry, but so every single woman is living an unsafe life. Is that, I don't know what that, I don't even know what to do with that.
So like, okay. I'm playing devil's advocate here because I feel like it's like like I said, the instinct is to say this is annoying girlfriend town, doesn't know how to fit in with the vibe, needs to just go with the flow. But it almost feels like the vibe was not well communicated to her. That like the boyfriend should have had a conversation with her, should have sort of established some expectations, because otherwise, like, I have a hard time believing she's just like such a pain that he's like, hey, this is like a totally chill trip. This is what it typically looks like. And she's just gonna throw a fit at every possible opportunity. I want to give her like a little credit and say she didn't quite know what she was getting herself into, and then spent the entire time like, hey, let's maybe try this. And they're like, no, maybe try fitting in. And I don't know. I want to at least put a gentle ding on even just the boyfriend for not laying out a little bit more clearly what this trip was going to look like, because clearly that's not what she thought. She came in with different expectations that guided her whole behavior, and then when she got upset, he told her to leave.
I can make a little bit of room for you. I'm really trying to. I mean, look, this is a 23-year-old male. Do I think that he was articulate enough, knowledgeable enough, had gone through enough experience to really lay it out and be like, just so you know, this is going to be like a very chill energy. It's my birthday. I kind of honestly, we were a very go with the flow group. I just want to lay that out for you. I'm going to be staying up late. I don't want to be held back or, controlled. And as long as you can be independent and like have your own fun, if you don't want to vibe with the group or whatever. I don't think he said that.
No. Yeah. And I guess too, I was also unsure if the writer was kind of being a reliable narrator as well, because the picture is being painted that this girl is like the worst. We've all been in a scenario with this girl.
Well, no, I don't think she's the worst. I just think, look, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think this girl, she's going to have to learn from this trip. She's probably not going to, but what does she need to take away? She needs to take away that she's needy. I mean, she's needy. I don't think there's any way around that. Are you going to push back on that?
She's needy. I mean, yeah, I think that's fair.
I want you to sleep with me. Which, look, these kids are like 20 years old, of course. They're like, come on, like, of course. But I just don't really feel like she was wronged in any real way. Now, she might get some great self-awareness here and be like, I don't want to go on these chill trips. I mean, look, I've known people like this. And I see, and look, maybe I'm projecting onto you, but you're probably a little bit type A. You go to Yale, you're obviously a good test taker, right? Like, you're smart as a whip.
You said it.
True or false? Right? You're not very, are you type B a little bit? You seem like you're kind of silly though.
Who knows? I'm like, I feel like I hear that I'm type A and I'm like, I don't know that I'm type A, but then I don't know.
Describe
like
your
somewhere in between
system. How do you track dates?
I was much more strict about it when I was in undergrad, and now I'm like, I don't know. I'm like type A because I have to be type A.
What's
Does that make sense?
Type B thing about you?
So we moved not that long ago, and if I were to pan around at the state of my unpacking going on around me, probably that.
This is it. I think this is going to close us out. How long ago did you move?
About a month ago.
Oh, okay. You are not that type A. If you live in pandemonium and it's been a month, I mean,
there's like a whole house. There's other places to be. I just have to sleep in here.
Your own room. Okay, no, that's, I mean, look, no judgment.
There's certain areas that are set up. My bed is nice. My vanity is nice. That just like, I can't really use my chair yet.
Okay, I don't even know who you are anymore. You need a functioning chair. But listen, I think I'm sorry. I'm trying to go with you on this, Chaney. But look, I think this person built a great account here. They built a great account. They described previous dynamics. Other people have gone on this trip, and guess what? It was never a problem because those people weren't controlling. They didn't try to tell Matt what to do. They didn't try to push the group into things the group obviously didn't want to do. You're a tree expert. Well, guess what? This fucking girl can't see the forest for them. I can't ding. I'm sorry. I mean, the only ding I could land, the only ding I can honestly give you is that I guess they left her there.
And then the thing I would say is they told her to leave at 2:00 in the morning, which I agree is not safe.
How is that not? Oh, because of the sleeping and driving?
Sleeping and driving, if it's late and dark in a place you're not familiar, that's like, at least let her sleep on the couch until the morning. Come on. Like,
yeah,
maybe that's like a tiny little thing in comparison, but like for the question, I guess
that's
the person who wrote it. The person who wrote it, I guess, didn't do anything wrong. But I think the boyfriend saying get out at 2:00 in the morning is like, that's where I can say pretty comfortably, like if my boyfriend asked me to leave somewhere in the middle of the night, I'd be pretty upset. I would think that was pretty unfair unless I had done something truly heinous. And I think just being upset that you were left alone at the house is not so truly heinous to deserve needing to leave immediately.
YTA, iSky7521 writes, we excluded and taught this woman who was new to our group because she didn't magically know the norms of our tradition and none of us would tell her what they were, and they kicked her out at 2 a.m. after we all shit-talked her some more. 114 upvotes. So there's some, you've got some people on your side. I mean, YTA, and also it feels like you excluded her. YTA, you definitely are not a girl's girl, and I get the vibe you enjoyed it being all guys and you without any other girls. YTA, and I'm too lazy to explain why. Okay, then don't comment. Why do this like that?
I think I'm annoyed by the idea that they're just because she enjoys having guy friends that she gets demonized for that. I think a lot of girls get picked on for like having predominantly male friend groups, and I think that's often not warranted. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of YTA energy floating around. Little other people probably getting the same sort of vibe of like, was she really like just totally annoying and a pain the whole time, or is there like another way to look at the situation?
That would be the strongest angle. Honestly, she's a girl. She calls herself a girl's girl, which is really a bullshit. She's overplaying her hand. She actually likes that these are her boys. But listen, let's compare dings. You got one ding. I'll give you one ding. We got a ding on boyfriend making her leave at 2 a.m. But we'll say the group making her leave at 2 a.m. She normalized it. She let it fly. I agree. It's a ding. Let's start with her dings. Ding number one. There's a convention to how this trip is usually done. And it's his birthday. She insisted that it's done her way. Her way. she is driving with Matt. Are you giving me a ding on that?
I will give you a general ding. I think wanting to go and be like drive with your boyfriend is not the craziest thing in the world, but not picking up the vibes and kind of needing to insert yourself and your perspective into everything, I will give you a ding there.
We got one ding there. Okay. Things got off to a rocky start with that. What else happened? These trips are unstructured. She just seemed restless. She continually suggested we drive to a fancy restaurant. People repeatedly sidestepped her. Can we get a ding on that? She was being unaware and she kept saying like, why don't we just go to Ruth's Chris? And everyone's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. So we'll go to the diner and we'll just see what happens. No, but what about Ruth's Chris? And like, she repeatedly did that. I think that's
I think I would want to know what they mean when they say sidestepped. But if I'm like, I'll use the phrase, if I'm playing it as it lays, then it is a ding because it's annoying. It's like, come on, read the room. But I secretly am harboring questions.
Okay, that's fair. That's questions.
But I'll award you the ding.
Chris would come to us pissed off every single night because she would interrupt them and beg Matt for at least 30 minutes to come to bed with her at 11 p.m. Then eventually go to bed by herself when he wouldn't. That feels like clean reporting. OP wasn't even there. OP wasn't.
Yeah. A 30-minute beg to go to bed, that feels like a lot. That's the old.
Well, I think that she came out for 30 minutes. I don't think literally 30. Please. 30 minutes. At that point, you got to give it to her.
You just like, if anything, just to like, please stop. Fine.
Yeah. Then, that's 3 dings I got already. Then it was mostly just her talking. And what was she doing? Complaining. Because look, let's face it. This girl is needy. She's very she was restless here. And I can maybe like agree with you on the communication side, but like her lack of self-awareness doesn't mean that like Matt need to provide a dossier about how this trip goes down. I don't know if I just use that right. See, I'm trying to impress you because you go to Yale.
No, you use that right.
What the fuck is a dossier? A collection of documents.
You got it.
Still got it, baby. Woo! Woo! I mean, come on. I've got this buried. Chaney. You know what I'm fighting for here. AITA for being a pick-me, not defending a woman who is forced to drive home alone at 2 a.m. in an unfamiliar area. Yeah, look, mistakes were made, but she drove them to the end of the line. They lost their patience for her and her bullshit. I'm going for not the asshole. Do I have you?
For the OP, I'll go NTA. I don't know, Matt, but he's whatever. But for the OP, I'm with you, NTA.
Chaney, what a joy. I feel like I have met my sort of like, what's the word I want? Antagonistic counterpart. You put up a great fight.
Thanks.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the listeners say you were wrong. Let's revisit that. I mean, it's happened, but I thought OP really put this together. They thought of every hole, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if we could have another perspective, I'm sure if someone else could write it, there's always more information to be had. But just based off of what we had, and if we're like really kind of giving the benefit of the doubt to the OP that they are really being honest, I think we've all been in a situation like that where it's like there's one person in the group who is harshing the vibe, and you're just like, stop doing that. We could be having so much fun right now, and you're not doing that. And we can just say, that's what's happening here.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks for bringing this, Sitch. It was great to meet you. And that's it. We'll see you next time, JD.
We welcome Dawson to the call-in show from Michigan. Dawson, it's great to have you here today, man.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, you said you were a little nervous to be talking to me, which I'm always so flattered by, but I'm a little nervous to be talking to you because you're a record holder. 2 years, back to back, most minutes listened to this podcast. Incredible.
Thank you. It's It's been a journey.
Now, you mentioned to me that you're a chemistry guy. You're a very good student. You're very studious. Are you listening to the podcast while you study, or are you focusing intently? What's the podcast workflow for you?
The podcast is like, it's mostly like a sleep aid for me. Because it's like, I have a hard time. I have a hard time falling asleep. So it's like with that, like something in the background, it just like kind of helps me just like focus on something. So like my brain just like shuts off and then I fall asleep.
I remember when you first told me this, I actually was a little insulted, and
Really?
not like in a real way, but yeah, I didn't take it as a compliment, because I was like, oh, I guess I'm just so, I honestly almost read it as like a neg at first. Like you were being like, yeah, your podcast's so boring, I fall asleep to it.
No, I didn't even mean, no.
No, it's cool. I mean, when I started doing comedy, I never was like, I hope the fucking chemistry genius in Michigan falls asleep to this, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, like every night, almost every night for like the last 4 years. So I promise it's not an insult.
No, thank you, man. I have matured now to be flattered by it, and I'm excited about this. We're going to do a kind of chemistry, AP chemistry related. You're a senior in high school, so you're the right one to know about this. Here we go.
Royal Knight Sam, we have finally reached the fortress of the Am I They Hold podcast.
We must take over before they batten down the hatches. Release the trebuchets.
Wait a second, who are those two over there of the top of the moat?
Who are you?
Halt, my steed. I am Knight Danny.
I am Knight Chaney.
Who goes there?
It's the OKOP podcast.
We've come to share our Reddit podcast with the people.
I can barely hear you. The moat is quite large, but that doesn't sound so
Well,
bad.
not so bad. We've got some listeners that might enjoy that.
Let us feast and share each other's Reddit stories and have some of your fine listeners come on down to OKOP Show wherever they listen to podcasts.
Let them in.
Oh, your trebuchet has struck me in the chest.
Ah, we have fooled you once again.
Oh!
Everyone come listen to us. They are dead. We have taken the throne.
AITA for telling my cousin not to do his AP chemistry homework anymore. My cousin Randy, 17M, is a junior in high school taking AP Chem. He's been coming to me for the last 2 months for tutoring in order to prep for the AP exam. I have a degree in chemistry from college, and I even did some tutoring while I was in college. I was an obvious choice to tutor him, as I could probably get 100% on an AP Chem exam in my sleep. My cousin told me that his teacher made a deal with the students. Anyone who gets the max score on the AP exam gets an automatic A in the class. Randy told me he had a C in the class at the time we started. I said that if the teacher is serious, the best use of his time is to forget about his classwork and use the extra time to study more for the exam. I promised him that he'd get a 5 so long as he keeps up with my tutoring. He agreed. To both of our credit, I tutored him well and he tried his best. By the end of the 2 months, his conceptual knowledge was flawless. Calculations, perfect. Balancing equations, orbitals, molarity, IMFs, thermodynamics. We get it. This guy knows chemistry. He was ready. He took the AP exam last week. It's going to be a little while before he gets the results, but I'd be mortified if he got anything but the max score. This morning, I got a call from his mom, my aunt, who was in a panic. She said that Randy's AP Chem teacher told her Randy's grade slipped to a D because he hasn't been submitting his homework. When she asked Randy, he told her that I told him not to do any more homework. I told her it was true, but that doesn't matter because Randy's getting an A in the class anyway. We went back and forth with a what if he doesn't hypothetical for a while. But in the end, I was unable to placate your concern about Randy's GPA. I want to know if I was TA for creating this situation. AITA.
Well, right off the bat, I just got finished like applying to colleges and stuff, and they care about your grades, especially if it's in like an AP class. If you're not doing well in the class, but you do great on the exam, they're gonna see your grade in that class, and then they're just gonna be like, "Well, what were you doing the entire time? Like, why do you just think you're too smart?" Like. Mm-hmm. They're going to look at that as like a bad thing, and your GPA taking a hit also wouldn't be very good for that either.
So you would submit a transcript prior to actually completing the class?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've done that. Okay. Well then, wow.
And if this, well, not like prior to completing a class, but like, does it ever say what he's 17? He's a junior in high school. So that D is going to show up when he applies to colleges.
Well, yeah, but he's saying he's not going to get the D, right? That's going to be his whole argument. So,
I mean, yeah, but there's also the chance that you don't get a D because the passing rate on the AP chemistry exam is 70%.
He has to get a 5.
Maximum score. Yeah, that's a 5 as a 70%.
Is a 70%.
Yeah.
So I guess I think my issue here is, this is a risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk. It's and this guy did an ROI calculation. He was very confident that his skills would be sufficient to get this guy a 5. You're kind of making it seem to me, though, like a 5 isn't that hard. You only got to get a 70 on this thing to get a 5.
Well, you can look at it as it's not that hard or that it's really difficult. And it's really difficult. It's the it's the hardest like AP class. It's up there.
Oh, is that true? That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never liked chemistry. I mean, I remember these moles, always with the moles and the orbitals, the S&P orbital. Oh, I hated it, man. I can't believe you like this stuff, but you really like it, huh?
I really like it. I've taken organic and biochemistry already.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
I guess I feel like, and have you ever had a tutor?
Not in chemistry, no.
You don't need it. You are the tutor.
Yeah.
I think for me is, I think, look, this is a 33M, which he wrote, by the way. I guess I'm wondering, what is the role of the tutor, really? I think this is more, instead of focusing on, like, is this an acceptable risk to take? Because let me tell you something. You tell me, Dawson. I kind of believe in OP. I kind of believe this guy's going to get a 5. It sounds like this guy knows his chem inside and out. He himself took the test. I kind of feel like he got this.
I mean, he could have this, but I don't know. Also, like doing the work like in the class, it's just like extra help for you. It's extra stuff for you to look back on. And it's something that from like a certified chemistry teacher that like, it's just like, it should be an extra confidence boost and it should be extra help for you to know that you're going to pass the exam.
I think you're right about that. And I think that's my dings on OP. It's not so much that he opted to take this risk. It's that this risk isn't really even coherent. I can kind of see his logic to some extent. He's sort of like, well, if you go all in and just focus on me, there's kind of a simplicity to that, which I can understand the appeal of. But it's like, dude, wouldn't going through these little things that the teacher is having you do also be beneficial, like at least to some extent?
Yeah. And I think the goal of a tutor should be trying to help you like understand the concepts you're learning in the class rather than just going all out at the end of it.
Yeah. And it sounds like well, is that what he's saying? Yeah. I kind of interpreted that at one point. Is he saying that we're going to just wait till the very end and cram this thing? He's just saying basically to learn the test. I feel like that's his approach.
Yeah.
The thing,
yeah.
I also feel like that's a bit naive though, because you never really know exactly. And they always throw curveballs for these things. They're not stupid. They know people will try to learn the test. Like you have to actually know the subject. I think ego is driving this tutor.
I agree.
He thinks he knows. He thinks he got it. And you know what? He may be right, but I think there is a little bit, I think a tutor, and I'm always saying teachers should be paid more. Probably true about tutors too, but you got to realize it's a big responsibility.
Right. Yeah, because if he like gets a 4 on the exam even, and he won't get his A in there, like that's going to be terrible for him later on.
Terrible. This is an all-in approach. It's too risky. Why would you do this? It doesn't make any sense. And I think, he's going to counter that and say, I would say he's still an asshole if this guy gets a 5. And I think that's what I'm fighting for here. Cause I know that that's what OP would say. Well, he's going to get a 5, relax. Because the duty of the tutor is also to instill good practices of work, not just to teach the test, but to instill values and routines to pass future classes.
Right. Yeah, it also like doesn't help with any other class other than AP chemistry. Like that's the only benefit that the kid is getting out of this. So it's also not very helpful for him either.
Yeah, exactly. He's a 33-year-old telling a 17-year-old, bro, fuck the class. Just listen to me. Right. That's really what he's doing. Yeah. Razzle Dazzle 626 YTA, your pride made you a shit mentor. You should be ashamed for encouraging him to slack off like that rather than encouraging him to actually learn and participate in his own education. I don't necessarily agree with how they put that, but they're not exactly wrong either.
I feel like that's just like another way, like a harsher way of just what we've been saying. It's just like more blunt about it.
It's similar. Yeah, it's similar. He should participate. I mean, I think that's the other aspect here is that, you like chemistry. Maybe you could make a new friend in one of your chemistry classes. You and I wouldn't be friends over chemistry. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah.
You'd be like, bro, I figured out all the orbitals, S and P, bro. We're going to Q. There's more too, right? Isn't there S orbital, P orbital? Is there any more?
Yeah, there's F and there's D.
There's F and there's D.
There's F and there's D. Yeah.
And there's just nothing like, with math, they're like, 11 apples to the store. Sometimes I buy 11 apples, Dawson. It's relatable. It's come up in life. But nobody's ever been like, what orbital is this? Can you help me, bro?
Yeah. It definitely doesn't help you with much outside of chemistry.
Well, hopefully you'll invent some kind of crazy drug that will cure us all. Affectionate Elk, YTA, are you a narcissist? So brutal. You discourage a child to not do his schoolwork so you could feel good about how so great you are at chemistry and he doesn't need to do his work. And you don't get why you're an asshole here? Big yikes. If he doesn't get a 5 on the AP exam, I hope it ruins your self-esteem for the rest of your life. Okay, it's kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's a little harsh.
It's a little harsh.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're kind of circling on a verdict here. Is there any other fine points we can draw out?
He's a 33 male with a degree in chemistry. He's been like out of school for a while now. It's been a minute since he's taken that exam. So he also isn't thinking about like how it could have changed and like how the course is different from then to now.
Damn, that's a great point. I have a degree in chemistry from college, and I even did some tutoring while I was in college. But you're right, that would have been many years ago. He actually doesn't say shit about his performance on the test or testing in general. He doesn't say anything about knowing the current AP exam. Obviously, it evolves.
Right. So it's like he has nothing, like we have no reason to believe them other than he graduated with a chemistry degree.
This was a crazy, crazy plan to advocate.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
AITA, I feel like we're out. I feel like we got nothing else.
Yeah, I agree.
AITA for telling my cousin not to do his AP chemistry homework anymore. I don't think I can defend this guy at all. I just think this is the wrong approach. I think the word mentor stuck out with me as well. A tutor is also kind of a mentor.
Yeah, and I don't think he's much of either.
Wow, that hurts coming from good old loyal podcast listener. So I think we agree. It's a whopping YTA.
Yeah, it's definitely YTA.
So, I mean, Dawson, look, a lot of us here, we don't know why people like chemistry. I think there's a lot of chemistry haters in the audience. Can you tell us, what do you love about it? What makes your heart sing, apparently?
Well, I was never like outstanding at math, and I was never like really good at like, I took a computer science class, and oh my God, I did. so bad on it. Like our final exam, I got an F on. And I was ended the class with like a C. Yeah, I'm terrible at like CS. Math, I'm like okay at. And chemistry, it just kind of feels like an easier version of math to me. And it's just like a different way to like look at what everything is.
That's crazy, bro. And so you said you want to work in like medicine.
Yeah.
You want to make some sick medicines?
Hell yeah.
I'm so impressed with how you told me your schedule is school, gym, more school, sleep, podcast, sleep.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. You're just going for it. You don't play any sports or nothing like that, activities?
I mean, I used to play basketball and run track for my school, but then I just stopped because I wasn't really having fun in it.
Interesting. So you love the chem, baby. He's all about the chemicals.
Yeah.
I was into chemicals in high school, but not exactly the way you are.
No, this is a little different.
Yeah, it was a lot different. Casa Grande life. Thank you so much for joining me, man. It's been great to meet you, and I feel like I'm gonna send you a mug anyway. We gotta keep the mugs flowing because look, you're still number 2,
right?
And the new number 1 listener, I don't even know her. Like we don't talk. Like you talk to me. Like I don't know this girl. I'm like Dawson's kind of number 1 in my heart still. You know?
Yeah, you're my boy.
Anything you can tell us about Gen Z? Are you even Gen Z? What are you? Are you a Gen Z?
Yeah, I'm Gen Z.
You're still Gen Z. Okay.
I am.
What are they calling the new ones? What are the ones below you?
There's Gen Alpha, which ends this year. Yeah.
Oh, no, they're done. They're not coming out with any more new Gen Alphas this year. Wow.
No, after this year, that's it.
That's crazy. Damn, man. Well, keep us in the loop, and yeah, man. Thanks a lot. We'll see you. Not next time because this is the last call-in show ever, but I'll see you on Instagram, baby.
Oh yeah, sounds good.